We can just continue for now if you want, and keep in mind the number of flags. Touch tips if you want, guys. You don't need to. And yeah, let's touch tips. We don't need to make an announcement. Let's just get to the fight. You guys touch tips, so go ahead. The fight is officially on. I know it's customary to do a whole announcement thing, but you guys seem bloodlusted, so. Okay, good exchange of cuts so far. There was a stab by Eve. Interestingly, he went with a... I don't think he meant to, but he went with a low guard. There's a stab again. Eve is doing a good job of picking Maestro apart. And Maestro really has to watch his stamina now after those two attacks. Stab by Eve, it actually, I think it kind of missed, oddly enough. I don't know how, but it did. Names are backwards, yes they are. Maestro picked the left. So, yeah. Good upward slash by Eve. Yes, I'm aware of the 5 flags. We will just continue this round, I guess, and then, yeah, go from there. I'll keep the score in mind. Maestro going with what many call the samurai move, and then follows it up. That's the rush B cut, which is pretty deadly. Then he goes for the Y cut. Or I think it's the next cut. I don't know which one. I don't play Zera. Either way, lethal combination. Cut into thrust by Maestro. Trying to make something happen. There's a little bit of weird stretchy arm physics there, but it didn't affect anything. Thrust sent by Maestro, and Eve just answers with one of his own, getting the upper leg there. And then I stab, sidestepping Maestro's attack. Zera's drunkenness really screwed him over there. Upward slash by Eve blocks the incoming attack, and then he can land a quick thrust. That was nicely done. Then there's a cut by Maestro, another cut. Very interesting matchup, this one. I am getting a little bit of lag at times. I hope that's not also happening to Eve. Anyway, that was a good combination. Very even fight so far, which is good to see. I know there was a concern about the host, so. That's why we're on Velociraptor's host and not mine. Then again, we saw Vinner do well on mine, so I think it goes to show that the host matters, but it's not, you know, the be-all end-all if your connection is good. Okay, Eve is barely ahead. Thrust attempt by Eve, he gets it, but guys, you need to continue. It is 5-3 in favor of Eve. 5-3. Eve needs 2 more to secure this round. Some lag. I think that's why Eve pauses at times. I can see him pausing whenever the lag hits me. Thankfully, it's not like a common occurrence. It just happens. Alright, that's another flag for Eve. Good defense. 1 more. And Eve will get it. Depends on what you mean by slow slashes. If you mean the really exaggerated ones, then generally speaking, yeah, those are tired swings. And Eve just took the W here. He took the win for the first round, so fighters back off. Zera does have some slow, like swings because he's drunk as well. Guys, we need to change the flags. Let's back out. Get Velociraptor to change that, yeah. Yeah, just change it to 7. Eve won the first one. Yeah, sometimes it skips to 8 there. Gotta be precise with that. So good performance by Eve, good performance by Maestro, I would say, too. I'd say Eve is the one with the disadvantage as far as host goes. It's interesting that he picked a host where Maestro would have perfect ping, but it's working out for him. Will he stick with Kalkstein? No, he doesn't. He goes for Barabash. And what's Maestro gonna do? Meister gonna go with Yazik. That wouldn't be a bad pick. Laszlo. Okay. Also not a bad pick. Very solid Saber character. Good exchange to start. Maestro on the attack, gets past the auto guard, showing us how to attack with Laszlo. Unsurprising that Maestro is really the aggressive one here. Eve got impatient. He was trying to punish Maestro's advance, but his swing was weaker. The Vineyard by Maestro, but he only did it once, and Eve just punished it instantly. With that X cut, that was nicely done. Bit of a sidestep too. Some lag, yeah, you can see Eve backs away every time that happens in my end, so it's not just me. But thankfully it's not usually happening when the action is actually beginning. That was a good retreat cut. It has a bit of a delay, but it hits really hard. And the fact that it has a delay is what makes it tricky. Maestro thought he had the timing down, but he didn't. Good upward slash by Eve, one of Barabash's most powerful tools. And Laszlo is quite vulnerable to it. His auto guard doesn't always stand up, and that's a good cut by Maestro. Maestro is being more aggressive, Eve is being more patient, and we're seeing they're equally matched, as one would expect. As long as the attacker is playing intelligently. Okay, Eve with a feint, but he doesn't follow it up. And he's trying to set up that upward slash, I think. He goes for a stab, it doesn't land though. Maestro is ready. Sidestep, and unfortunately he got cut as he did so. Maestro tired, goes for the Vineyard. It doesn't work though. Yeah, I'm being pinged. Ah, okay. Good kill by Maestro. Maestro a bit ahead now, but it's still roughly equal. Is Eve having some problems? Upward slash by Maestro, that actually is a powerful tool of Laszlo's as well. He looks poised to do downward slashes, and those are definitely his strong suit, but he can swing upward as well with just as much power. And there's a strike to the arm by Maestro, 1-1. Fix the name, you fool. Yeah, some funny stuff in the chat there anyway. Good to see people finally actually talking there. There's a lot of stuff going on in the Discord. Okay, what's Maestro gonna do? Maestro goes with Isabella. You can see a calc by Eve again. I think Eve likes to use calc whenever he sees a longsword, which is understandable. His guard probably holds up the best out of the characters he likes playing, so. maybe some trading, but Maestro with a point in the opening there. He is tired now. Eve is probably going to try and take advantage of that. He's going to be patient, but he's going to slowly pick at Maestro's health. Unfortunately, he actually rushes in there. He does the opposite of what I was thinking he would do. He got impatient. A bit uncharacteristic, but I think Eve thought he could just land the stab to the face, because Maestro wasn't really long guarding. It doesn't always work that way though, just because of blade positioning. Eve is limping after Maestro is hit, but he does a very good job of countering that cut with one of his own. Now he's falling back onto his more patient style again. Upward slash by Maestro gets punished. And Maestro just goes on the attack. Eve, I think, didn't expect a combo. He expected one cut. And that's why he opened himself up for that second hit. And then there's the sidestep by Maestro, instantly hitting Eve. Eve was also dashing, so his guard wasn't up. High guard by Maestro. Then he goes for long guard thrust, but Eve sees it coming. Eve blocks the second one with an attack of his own. Another even fight. Really enjoying this one. Stab attempt by Eve. Another stab catching Maestro when he thought he had an opening. Eve is going for very minimalistic attacks here. He goes again for that retreat thrust, but no kill. It's kind of a weak attack sometimes. Often relies on the opponent to do the work, if that makes sense. The opponent running into the point. But it is still a very good move. It can be really annoying. I was going for a similar tactic against Vineyard's Isabella at times too. I was using the cut into thrust to tag him, to remind him that, you know, you can't just stand there and guard. That doesn't work. You gotta play actively, you know? And sometimes that's a really good tactic, you know? Just ask your opponent some questions. If they're just gonna stand there and defend, use moves that counter that immediately, and you can get some really good results. Wow, that was a massive hit by Maestro. I think it hit the basket, actually, which makes it odd that it cut his hand off, but oh well. Bit of a lag spike, but they always happen kind of at the beginning of matches, so it's not really affecting what's happening. That was a good upward slash by Eve. Calc's cuts are just as powerful as his thrusts. And Eve tried the retreat thrust, but his point was just completely offline, and Maestro was cutting, so there was no way that was gonna land. But I see what he was trying to do. It's a good tactic. It's just that Maestro has that downloaded, I think. Thrust by Eve. We're seeing Bardabash against Marie. I don't know why Maestro went with Marie. Especially knowing that Eve could pick Bardabash. Or he could even pick Kalkstein. I mean, Kalkstein's not that bad in Eve's hand against Marie in my experience. And the problem is, Eve just knows this matchup inside and out. That was a thrust into cut. Amazingly, that was not a kill. And there's a finishing move there with that thrust. Thrust attempt by Maestro. That is a very good angle, but the problem is Eve saw that coming and backed away. Eve knows he has to close in at some point, but he's not being overly aggressive about it. Testing the waters, beats the blade as Maestro tries something. It seems like anything Maestro tries just doesn't work, and that double lunge was blocked immediately, going to show that that double lunge is definitely counterable. Maestro had to rely on that retreat thrust actually to get hit. And Maestro's gonna have to, and I can see here he's trying different angles, which goes to show that you gotta use many of her tools in some of these matchups. And there's a stab to the head. Yeah, that's true. The mention about the basket hilt, like, if the sword got stuck somehow in there and it applied a lot of force to the hand, I could see how the hand would come off. As far as the physics go in the game, you know. You're not a bad player, Vineyard, by the way. Sorry, I'm not paying as much attention to the chat as I should be. But, no, you're not a bad player, Vineyard. There's a thrust to the head by Eve. Maestro just can't get anything done. Barbash does a good job of shutting down that center line. So, even if Maestro were to use the double lunge that people hate, it just wouldn't work. And that curve allows him to get around that rapier blade quite easily. But that was a good catch by Maestro as Eve tried to get aggressive. Lag spike, but it looks like they're good to go. It's very, they don't last very long. So, cut attempt by Maestro, but Eve seems to have seen it coming. He went for a cut of his own. And there's a bit of a trade. Thrust was actually more of a push cut when it misses like that. And with a saber like that, that's still a pretty brutal attack. It doesn't kill, but knocks that follow-up. And then a sidestep by Eve, nicely done. Marie was a clear mistake there by Maestro. Maybe he got his brother to play too. Obviously, I'm joking, but yeah, I strongly disagree with that pick. Let's put it that way. They're seeing who they're gonna pick here. Eve is going with Gideon. He's kind of flexing. He's just picking every character he mains. Maestro is thinking. Does he go Zera? Does he go Isabella? Yeah, Marie would not be a good pick, I don't think. So he goes with Isabella. Okay, there's a kill for Maestro. Maestro rushing in, then he goes for a retreat cut. Eve just couldn't defend that retreat cut. Good aggression so far by Maestro. Eve is usually a more patient player, so when that sort of stuff starts happening, it could start to mess with him a bit. You know, he likes sitting back a little bit, being patient, waiting for a good opportunity. It's a very good play style, but Maestro is showing us here how to counter it, and now Eve is getting impatient as his defense just isn't doing him a whole lot of good. And against Isabella, I think Gideon definitely struggles. It's not a hopeless matchup, it's just a really difficult one. That was a beautiful thrust by Eve, though. If anyone can do this with Gideon, Eve is definitely one of the candidates. Eve's gonna want to rely on punishing Isabella. He can't play her game. He can't just get into a slugging match. He can't turtle up either. He has to be absolutely savage when he counters. And unfortunately, yeah, that thrust, I mean, he tried long guarding, I think, but it's such a powerful thrust. I'm not sure Gideon has anything for it. It's been buffed, and, you know, unfortunately, it's just really tough. And Maestro is a very good Isabella player. That's the most important thing. Maestro could have been punished there, I think. He went for a high guard cut. Then he goes for an X slash. Eve is being patient. Okay, Maestro tired now. Goes for a cut. Maestro should still be tired. He gets a cut, though. Good attempt by Maestro to fight despite being tired, but yeah. When you're tired like that in this game, it's just a bad situation. Maestro rushing in, goes for the upward slash. He's trying to catch Eve as Eve tries to counter, and forcing Eve in doing so into turtling, because Eve is being patient. That thrust missed, but Eve recovered quickly and got a hit to the head. Oh, is there something wrong with the... Oh yeah, we're still seeing the ring girls. Rip.
Sorry, but like, you didn't even see this fight.
Alright, well, Maestro needs one more to win. Eve is on the back foot in the corner now. That's not good for him. He can't move a whole lot. Maestro's trying to take advantage of that with high guard slashes and the thrust. He goes for the thrust. Oh my goodness. And Eve just can't do anything. There was some jank punching. He was stuck in the corner. He couldn't move anywhere. And his guard was not going to save him there. So, yeah, everything possible went wrong for Eve in that last flag, unfortunately. It was kind of lagging at that time too. Like, it was just like the game